Hey everyone, welcome to Pyro Perspective. This is a different format than I'm usually doing, or than I used to do. I'm just going to be going over footage live and hope for the best. I'll probably miss a lot of details and probably even get things wrong, but maybe there's stuff to learn and hopefully it's useful to you. And I'll put more like effort into other content. I just have a lot of footage and I just want to go over some stuff. So like here's a heavy, and I'm assuming he's fully buffed, and I see that I'm not taking any damage. you know like when I saw these players here, these four players, I'm like, okay, this is dangerous. I should maybe run away, because that's a lot of firepower even if they're not that great. And then there's a spy here. I don't think I even noticed that spy. Yeah, that spy should have totally killed me. That's really funny. But as soon as I realized I haven't taken any damage from these players, I don't think they even know that I'm here. So once I see that, I'm like, okay, I can actually probably kill this heavy. So the way I do this is very similar to the old days, with the old degreaser and shotgun. There's a quick... How much damage was that? I can't even see. Okay, so that was a meat shot. So that was like 120 or so damage so far. 130. And then launch him up. Land another decent shot there. So the way you launch players up as with air blast is you want to aim more directly down or more directly up. Either one works. I just find it's easier to go down than up, and it's a little bit more fun. But it would probably be more convenient if you aimed up and then went down, because you would be able to see more easily where your opponent goes a little bit earlier, because you wouldn't have to look to follow. But it's not really that big deal, because you can still do the same thing even when you air blast down. You just have to start moving up right after you hit mouse 2, so that you're already looking to where they're going to go. This is especially the case when you have high ping, because I'm playing with 100 ping. I usually play with the VPN, and that's to set my ping to at least like 100. That's because when I play Highlander and competitive, I'm at like 80 ping. So I want to practice with 100 ping, because it does make a pretty significant difference for Pyro. But I do think that 100 ping Pyro is perfectly capable of doing well, just harder. So yeah, same process, rinse, repeat. Air blast, then I get lucky with a crit. This spy really should have just killed me, and I don't know why he didn't. But after you do a whole bunch of damage, I guess you get... Oh no, I didn't get extra crits, that was pretty good. But yeah, that's just like a one little shadow play clip. But there is more. I recorded this whole pub session after that shadow play clip. So I was like, well, maybe I can talk about it. Maybe there's stuff I can share here. So let's just start going through it and see what we can learn. What else do I need to say for context here? Not much. So this spy is just kind of being annoying. You know, he's just kind of poking in and out, not really fully committing. Really what I should be doing is pretending like I don't see him and let him just drop down. But I kind of just don't want to deal with that for some reason. Not really the best play there, but you know, it was like an option that wasn't necessarily optimal. So in this situation we have slightly, I'm assuming it's a hurt Pyro because he's kind of running away. And uh-oh. Okay, I was scared for a second. I thought I was gonna get crit. This is really unfortunate. So I'm just kind of, let's see. There's not much really to say about this. It's just the Pyro, he's kind of running away, and I kind of beef a little bit. I don't do very much damage. Like I got lucky with a crit too. So I have like low ammo, I have low ammo, and I'm reloading, and I'm going around a corner. You probably don't want to do that. That's not a good idea, because I didn't have my degreaser out. I didn't even have the ammo to deal with the soldier. I was like, why am I even going in here? But it's at the same time, I was like, I have a heavy behind me, so in the end, it doesn't really matter, because this team's kind of just gonna win anyways. So it wasn't like that big a deal. But if I was trying to win, maybe that's not a good idea. I skipped the health pack down there. I'm slightly sad about that. But here we go. We got a little spee here. A little spadoodle. So I hear some shots getting fired over here. And I see the engineers shooting back. And so I'm just like, well, the spies cannot see me. And I know it's a spy because I hear it's a Latranger. And so I'm just like, alright, he's literally like in this line. Like the tracer is revealing where he is. And so I'm gonna peek around the corner, do a quick power jack jump to get up the stairs a little bit faster, while simultaneously getting closer to the spy, while simultaneously already having my degreaser out. See, my degreaser is like already out before I even land on the stairs, and I'm already shooting flames out, and those flames will go over here and damage the spy. So just little things like that can get you the kill a little bit faster. I didn't have to do very much. Like, obviously it's just a little spy. Like, I literally could have just walked in and shook my mouse around like back and forth. But it's just like a small little detail that it's nice to implement, just because it's kind of fun, and you never know when it might save your life. There's so many situations in TF2 where if you don't play perfectly, you're gonna lose, so you better play perfectly. So it's good to practice. Now obviously no one's perfect, so you can't expect it, but if you have to, like, just try. In situations where you don't have to, it doesn't necessarily make sense to put that effort in. Anyway, this is kind of funny. I thought I'd meat shot the scout, but actually he just kind of... Well, I didn't think it because I didn't hear like the deep hit sound. But I was like mildly confused at why this scout died, and now I understand he had a Boston Dasher. Yeah, unlucky NG, unlucky scout. This is slightly emblematic of how to aim flames. Like, see this NG here? I have my degreaser out. I shoot fire right here, and it's too late. Because I don't actually know that didn't necessarily matter. It's actually more the next thing right here. So I see I have my crosshair on the scout. That's actually not necessarily the best because my flames are like, because of my high ping, they're coming out more to the right. So I'm aiming to the left to sort of like, alright, see how my flames are like, my last visible flame here is like way going this way. Like this particle is I think this is a flame particle. Yeah, this part of the flame particle. It's going way to the right. And so I have to lead the scout to the left, and I'm predicting him to walk this way, but he doesn't. He actually just walks backwards. That's covered by the other flames. When I shoot flames forward here, they kind of go up in this direction anyways. So when he went backwards, he actually walked into the flames, and the lingering flame damage dealt with that anyway. I mean, again, it doesn't really matter. It's literally just a scout, but it does serve as like a miniature example of ping and what it can do to your flames. So we're just gonna chill for a little while. I don't really have any reason to go out there. I hear this, like, an Uber charge just popped, and so I just come out to air blast a little bit. Not really trying very hard at this moment. I'm just like, alright, I think my team's got it. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I think I might need to actually fight. And it's getting, yeah, it got a little scary. That's unfortunate. Sniper. Alright, so where are we going? What, did I miss anything here? No, I just got the, they kept the point and I reset back to the next spawn point. It's probably more dangerous to spawn out from there, but it didn't really matter. We kind of have control of this area for now. So here I'm playing a little game with this soldier. I'm like peeking forward a little bit, but not committing forward, and I'm starting to, when I notice that this pyro's coming, I'm like, alright, I don't actually want to deal with the pyro and a heavy with a soldier. Like, we're just not gonna win this. The heavy counters me and the pyro counters him, so it's like, this is not our fight, so we're just gonna back off. And we kind of like, I think we kind of had a little mini connection here, because we were like, nah, let's not fight this. And it's nice, it's really nice when you find teammates that you can kind of like predict, because then you can know what they're gonna do, and you can put yourself in a spot that kind of makes more sense. So yeah, they Ubered the pyro. I didn't want to stay next to the pyro for too long. I'm usually caught off guard by how quickly I die to flames. Mostly because when I use fire, it feels awful. It feels like I'll never get a kill with it. Not necessarily the case, but it doesn't feel like it's that powerful when I use it. But when the other Pyro uses it, they have Uber. You can die pretty quick, so you do have to respect it to some extent, especially when they're invincible. You can't do anything about it. You can't pressure. Let's see. Now there's not much going on here. What happened here? It's a little scout. I just kind of gave him a little bit of damage, but I was like, my momentum is already shifted to the right. I'm already behind this thing. I'm not gonna be able to catch the scout. There's literally no way I can catch the scout to deal enough damage, so I just keep going forward. And it's like, oh, an engineer, I can do that. And you can see I'm like, I guess maybe I should point out, like, let's see, let's observe our weapon usage. I do a power jack jump into the panic attack. I do only 7, so I missed. That's a beef. Immediately after the panic attack comes out, let's see, power jack jump. So I jump first. Panic attack. Panic attack comes out. Degreaser's out, and it's about it comes out about when I land. So you can actually kind of chain your weapons together even in like a single jump. Jumping, of course, is still gonna like leave you vulnerable though, because it kind of makes your path a little more predictable, but at times it can be pretty useful. I find it pretty fun to bounce around. So the scout looks at me, and I don't really like that, especially when I have 120. So I just don't mind like shooting a bit of fire, doing a little bit of damage, just enough to scare him away. I can tell that scout's scared of me because he like ran to the left. If he ran forward to the right, or ran even just to the right and kept his ground, then I know that he's not scared and that I can't do this, what I'm about to do here. But since I know he's scared and he's going to run away, I can go in and get a quick little medic pick. He didn't really have very much health, so I didn't have to work very hard for it. But once I see that he's dead, I come in, and I should have killed that Pyro, honestly. But I just needed to get out, because what was about to happen is I see that there's this heavy here, and I'm like, okay, there's a chance that this heavy's going to turn around, and especially if I accidentally damage him. So I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore, so I just get out. There's not really much more I can do, and as you can see, like, if I had stood in there, that heavy did turn around eventually and did start shooting me, and I would have died if I had stayed in longer. So that's just like a little hint, like, if someone doesn't see you, but you're expecting them to turn around, you should kind of preempt them. I probably could have killed this Pyro. I did a good amount of damage with the panic attack and degreaser here. Let's see. It was like a decent amount of damage, and he kind of walked back into lingering flames too. So he took a little bit extra damage, but not too much. So I probably could have killed him, but my focus was more like, I should probably run away from the heavy because it's gonna kill me for free. Little spy. Oh yeah, this is funny. Poor Anarchy. Is this scout again? I did more damage this time, so I'm like, I can just kill him. And I know he's dead from the afterburn here, because see, all right, 105. Put a couple flames here. 120. I see one. I didn't see the 124, but I processed 120. So I was like, okay, he's dead. And he's running. He's like far away enough where I can do a power jack jump. Even if he hits me when I'm in the air, I can use a little bit of the momentum from getting shot with hit scan. I think I even crouch here, I'm not sure. Just in case he gives me a little boost with his attack. It's not necessarily the case that he does. Yeah, I think he died before I jumped. But, you know, I'm like, well, if he does live long enough to shoot me, I can at least get closer to my opponent with it. Anyway, so we see this. I see the sentry here, because I'm paused, but I didn't see it in the game. So I'm like, ooh, a bunch of players haven't seen me, and they're like not. Like there's 2 projectile classes, and like the scout doesn't seem very good, so I can disrespect him a little bit. But then the sentry actually just, you know, hits people and like, wait, I'm taking damage. That's different. I don't like this. So I'm trying to get out, but there's no way I'm gonna get out. I'm kind of acknowledging that I'm not gonna get out. So instead of focusing on like how do I escape, I shift my focus here to, okay, how can I deal as much damage before I inevitably die? So I'm like, all right, there's a soldier. and I just wait for a rocket, and I react to the rocket, and I just so happen to reflect the pipe too. Not that the pipe mattered, but yeah, and like this was perfect. It was perfectly fine to air blast at this timing anyway, just because I was literally about to die. Like, I'm at 40, the sentry's shooting me, it only takes a few more shots. See, there's 16 damage each time. I think it's 16. Yeah, 56 to 40, 40 to 24. So I can only take 2 more shots here, so I may as well air blast before I die. And it's kind of timed luckily enough so I can get a reflect kill before I die. But you know, I did get hit by a parked car after all. Like literally. The sentry there. That is actually a great name. I didn't notice that. That's really funny. Anyways, let's see. So we roll out. Oh yeah, I think I start like wanting to use this little trick here. I really like this little jump you can do. I don't know if you can do it without the power jack, but power jack does make it a little easier. Alright, see, sentry's getting oh, that was cute. The sentry's attack, there's a sentry, I hear beeps, I hear you know. I'm like, okay, I don't want to peek that because I'll just take damage for no reason. And then fire comes in, so I'm like, okay, enemy pyro coming in. I should have reacted maybe a little bit faster. Let's see how quickly I actually react here to the fire. Yeah, I was a little caught off guard by the fire, but this was an accident. This is an accident. This is really funny. We just kind of both happened to air blast at roughly the same time, so yeah, that's unlucky from him, honestly, because I literally just only wanted him to go back, like, away from my soldiers. Because, like, I feel a little bit, like, what happened here was I felt a little bit stressed out. Right about here, I saw the soldier was weak, so I was like, oh no, my friend's gonna die. I'm terrified. So I air blasted to, like, hope that my friend lives, and then, of course, turn around to air blast them right after. So now the pyro's dead, I'm like, alright, I want to peek a little bit. Excuse me. And test my luck, and then my friend finally does die. I say my friend, but I don't actually know this guy. I'm just like, you know, everyone in your team is your friend. Yeah, at the moment I'm just kind of chilling here because I don't really like want anybody to come in, but I also don't want to leave because there's a sniper there. You know, like there's no point in me peeking. So eventually I kind of just like, yeah, see the sniper and the sentry there, so I'm still like, nah, yeah, there's no check and do here. So I just leave for a moment, just to leave the space open for a moment to maybe somebody comes in that time, and sure enough somebody does. So I come back. I went a little too far. If he was a little faster, he could have gotten behind us completely. So ideally, you know, you would respect scout speed. I just wanted this little ammo, but I could have gotten that ammo instead. But also, you know, going out of view kind of helps a little bit. If it was a slower class, coming into here might have been a little further back. But actually it doesn't really matter that much, honestly. Yeah, this doesn't actually matter that much. Because that was a beef. I should have killed him. This demo man has a trap here. I don't really need to be here. You know, and this is kind of a misplay by me because this demo man sets up a trap and then I play forward. I walk forward thinking I can kill the scout, and I probably could have, but I beefed, so oh well. And that might have set off the scout to be like more wary about walking in, which makes the trap less effective and just wastes the demo man stickies. And that's a resource you don't want to waste. So not the best play there by me. But anyways, Pyro Uber against the sentry is pretty well. Pyro Uber against the sentry is not going to be very good when there's another Pyro in the field. So all I have to do is mouse to him a few times. I aim down first to launch them up because I know that the sentry will push them back when they get launched. And also know that he doesn't have any weapons that aren't good because he's running the flamethrower, so like he can't do any damage until he gets crits anyways. Yeah, so any like dangerous or threatening damage anyways, unless he gets crits. So I was like, okay, I can just kind of mess around a little bit, just air blast him a few times. It doesn't really matter how I do it or exactly where. I probably could have trapped the medic in. I didn't want this Pyro to do any like crazy stuff behind us to like damage or engineer or anything or get that sniper, so I wanted to deal with him. I think the medic did die, but I'm not sure. Anyway, there's not too much to say about that, in all honesty. It's just kind of pretty simple gameplay right there. I love this kind of stuff. I miss though, if I got a meat shot there. Or actually, it might not have been possible to get a meat shot there. I only did 30. I'm so sad. Anyway, that was pretty fun. Pretty cute. Let's see, is there anything to say about that? That reflects? Back up. Let's see. Where did I even go? Where am I? Okay, here we go. What happened? Did I skip this part entirely? Okay, let's take a look. Air blast, you're burning him. Nice little meat shot on this. Not necessarily a full meat shot because it did 110 or 100 instead of 110, but you know, good damage. Like, alright. Really quick pepper. Put some fire here because I'm like, okay, maybe he's gonna keep going this direction. He doesn't, so I can use the panic attack. It's sort of like no matter where he goes, he's gonna take damage, and he kind of went to the spot that makes him take more damage because I got the meat shot. And it's a sort of like psychological thing that you can use. Like, I'm starting to notice this now anyways. Like, you can I wonder if I don't know if this is what I did here, but I wonder if it's possible to maybe like put fire down somewhere like in front of the opponent. Like trust them to know better than to walk into it, and then know ahead of time that they're gonna walk away. I wonder if that's like a legit strategy that can be used. I'm gonna have to try that out some more. Probably is. Yes, I took some damage from that Dome Man, so like, alright, I don't like this. I don't like being here. So here we come back for the revenge. Not much to say about that reflect, honestly. He fired 2 in a row. When you fire 2 pipes in a row, it's pretty easy to reflect. And I hadn't expected him to switch up his timing. Anyway, here's a Pyro. I think we're both... Let's see how much damage I need to do. 60... Okay, so yeah, we're both full health. This is why kind of the Degreaser is really strong against regular flamethrower Pyros. This guy had to wait 0.5 seconds to start damaging me. Like, he did a little bit of baby damage because he had his detonator out. That was his mistake here. If he started with the flamethrower, I would have been more pressured, especially in this tight corridor. I would have like not been able to do what I'm about to do here. If he had the Degreaser though, instead of waiting, like, it would have been okay for him to have that detonator out, because it wouldn't have necessarily been good, but it would have been better, because look at how long it takes for him to start being able to damage me. So this is why the Degreaser is generally going to be stronger against the flamethrower in a Pyro v Pyro fight. Plus because afterburn literally doesn't matter in a Pyro fight. So you just, and especially with the panic attack, like, I beat here, I miss completely, but like I have another chance because he can't put out enough damage to kill me quickly enough to where I don't get these opportunities to kill him. So like eventually I get the shot. And it's just kind of an example of why the safety of the Degreaser is pretty good. It's pretty useful. He would have had earlier access to his damage, and I would have taken maybe another 50 or so. I probably may have still won, because he still has his detonator out. So like, you still don't want to have that happen, have your detonator out like when a pyro's charging you. But yeah, so the spy was like kind of tricky. Made me kind of sad that I died here. I saw this spy. I just see the pyro die again. I'm not too precise with this. I was like, okay, I saw this red spy. So I'm like, okay, I can't tell. I don't know if this is our spy or their spy. And then what I see there from this last peek, right? Jump, red spy, getting health pack. Jump again, red spy, going towards the medic. I'm like, okay, I still don't know if he's on our side or not, you know? And then I see, oh, he's walking towards me and not the medic. So I'm like, all right, that is definitely a spy. You know, that's how you reveal yourself as a spy. And like, I guess he didn't think you would see me or I would see him, which is like a reasonable assumption, I guess, maybe. So he tries to do a trick stab here, I guess, or some kind of, he tries to do something kind of sneaky. So I'm like, I already kind of know these tricks, but he actually kind of almost got it. So I try not to move my mouse too much here, like to the left. Like I see like he's going to the left, and you know, at high ping, like I want to aim ahead of him. You know, so if he's strafing left, you know, you might think, oh, I should move my camera left. But he knows, like I know that he's gonna try to do something kind of fancy, so I don't move my mouse very much at all. And I don't really have to like worry about how I aim my flames until I take some damage from the scout. Then I'm like, oh, this is actually not good, because he also gets a knife off on me, like a butter knife. And I wasn't. This is the part that I wasn't expecting, was that this little like dip to the right, like in full commit to the right. I was like, whoa, you're crazy. And so that caught me off guard, and was probably why I died, because if I had known he was gonna do that, or he was able to do that, like it was even a thought in his mind, excuse me, then I probably would have air blasted him a little sooner, like back here, and just ran away, especially once the scout came in. But yeah, so our team's doing not too great here. It looks like, seems like we're starting to struggle a little bit. But actually, we're not doing too bad. We're getting okay trades, but, and we have the sentry. Yeah, our team's doing fine. Never mind. We have sentry guns. They can't do anything about that. Just kidding. They have a bonk scout here, which is actually, this is actually like one of those rare coordinated pub plays that like is really surprising. I was so sad here. I could have killed this sniper, but I messed up. Before I talk about that, I just want to be in awe that like sometimes pubs are amazing, because sometimes you just kind of like know what your teammates are gonna do, and like you see a bonk scout go in, you're like, oh, we should Uber, and like sometimes things just work. And our engineer was forced to move out his gun because I couldn't. There was no way I could stuff that many players by myself. Like I might have been able to. I tried to like push the scout away so that the sentry could start shooting other players. But actually, what I maybe should have done was air blast those players and their projectiles. That would probably be a smarter play than focusing on the scout. But honestly, like, especially once I took this little bit of damage here. Oh, you know what? Oh, look at this. Here we go. I'm like way over here. Look at where I reflected that pipe, and look at where I'm at right now. Look at how much damage I took. I took so much. I took 85 damage from a pipe that was right here that I reflected, and it's an iron bomber, so it's staying right here. All right, it's gonna stay right there, and I'm way up here, and it blows up. And it hits me for 80. So once that happened, I was like, I don't want to fight these players in the front, because there's a lot of projectiles, and just like one or two of them needs to hit me for me to die. Anyway, I was like, I kind of bought this disguise because it's like a hatless sniper, and I wouldn't be and his name is Vengeful Bumblebee Hive, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was just a random hatless sniper on our team that was just kind of standing here. I wasn't paying attention to the kill feed up here. See that our sniper was dead, but I just, you know, shot some fire and I turned away. That tells you. I did not expect this at all. Like, I totally bought this disguise because I turned away. But honestly, to some extent, I was fine with like knowing that I could turn away here, because I didn't feel like he was close enough to capitalize on that turn away. And like, he walked in and he was like slow to react to. A better spy probably would have killed me here for doing this. But like, you saw, like, I just went like this and you could barely even see me shifting my look to the right. It's like not very long. And the reason I do that is because I want to see ahead of me before I go. And I figured it's more valuable to look to the right really quick than it is to worry about the risk of the spy, because then I can see what's ahead of me, and then I kind of like get stuck in the scout, and that's a little weird. And so I start to like do a little mini panic, and I'm trying to outplay the sniper here, but he totally gets the shot. I jumped right into it. So that was good. That was good play by him. I should have clung to the wall here because he knew I was pressured, and would try to like maybe go into him. So sticking closer to the fence, and like especially this, once you see the sniper scoped in, you have a little moment to react. Like, okay, the sniper scoped in and I see he's looking to my left. So I had unfortunately already committed to this idea of a power jack jump right here to sort of mix up my direction. But what I should have done was waited for him to do the scope in and then do a jump and then to commit to it, because then I would have been able to go around his scope and probably get the kill. I don't think I had used all of my shots yet. Yeah, that was a free kill, absolutely free kill that I kind of beefed there. That's okay. That's part of the learning process. And now obviously, like, when I'm talking about like, oh well, if the spy's here and I am like, you know, I want to see what's in front of me, so I go to the right really quick and then go back left. Like, I'm not actively thinking these things when I'm playing. These are just like natural inclinations because I just want more information. And to some extent, that's kind of why I'm doing this with a scout right here. Like, I see the scout here and I start damaging him, and then I'm like, actually, honestly, no, right here, I'm not doing anything but freaking out about why the scout is like, why I'm stuck in the scout. That's probably what I'm doing. But it's really nice to be able to do that at the same time as getting information. So like, as I'm looking to the left every so often here and like moving my mouse around frantically, I am just getting a little bit more information, which can help me make decisions, especially in these situations where I'm like probably gonna die. Not that it matters too much in the end though. You'll see me kind of focus on tiny details and sort of prescribe ideas to them, but it's not necessarily the case that that's exactly what I was thinking, and it probably wasn't. But it's more like trying to see if there are any lessons in these small things that I do, and these are the takeaways that I get from watching this gameplay. This is a somewhat complicated little situation here. The soldier gets launched behind, and he crits. That's unfortunate. And at the same time, we're Ubering and going forward, and I have to decide, like, do I want to deal with the soldier? And I think in the end, I think my team's gonna deal with it because they're down a lot. We have plenty of people alive to deal with it. That was a mistake though, because he did get another kill, but not that big a mistake because I think he killed their NG, because they're gonna lose right now anyway. So in the end, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, this is kind of funny. I was like, I saw this spy checked him, and then I remembered, wait, I should not damage this heavy, because then he'll turn around and he won't insta die. But I tend to have this problem where, and I was very surprised at myself that I didn't do this, where I'd be like, I see you can insta-kill the heavy, but I want to kill him my way because it's more fun. So I was really tempted to panic attack combo him, and it would definitely would have been like a near insta kill. It would have been like a 1 second kill if I performed it correctly. So I was thinking about it, but at that point I was like, we're gonna win anyway, so nothing I do matters. And to some extent, like half of this stuff back here, like when there's 40 seconds left, it doesn't really matter. Our team's just way too strong. This is definitely one of those games where like one team was just more coordinated than the other in a pub, and that was like, that's how you win a pub. Against like, you know, players that aren't totally new to the game anyways. Because a lot of these players seem relatively experienced. Like, not necessarily that great at the game, but like pretty good. Some of them are probably better than me too. Let's see. So we have Uber Pyro. Not much to say about that. I'm just like, alright, I can just run away. I don't really understand necessarily the decision that this Pyro made to chase me here. Once I get this... Actually, no. Oh yeah, once... Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I got launched, so... He probably would have been able to get the... Oh my god. Get damage off on me. But I got launched, so like, that launch might have actually helped me a little bit because it put me out of the Pyro's range. Ooh. Rough time for that scout. So, I'm just trying to like, look at what's happening here, and I got lucky, and I see some pipes coming in, so I like reflect one of them, because, let's see, where the hell did that own? Yeah, so I'm like, alright, while, this is maybe a little lesson to learn, this scout is not very threatening, so I can just kind of like ignore him for a second and get this reflect off. That's all. That's like a tiny little thing, and the reflect barely even mattered because the spam wasn't gonna hit anybody. But it's like nice practice for when maybe that situation actually matters. Maybe a scout is like probably gonna beef because you've seen him beef a few times before or something. So this is a cute little play here, a little risky, but I figured it was worth the risk because this demo man doesn't have very much time to set up very much of a trap. So I see like, okay, he puts one stick down, and I actually miss it, but I hit him with the panic attack spread. Like this one bullet out of the spread hit it, so that was kind of funny. But I'm like, I'm gonna preemptively air blast as I go around the corner because I know there's gonna be stickies here, and they're probably not gonna be up here because this guy doesn't have enough time to like set up traps up here because those don't do enough damage. He needs to set up 2 immediate stickies in order to like deal good damage to a player. So I'm like, alright, I can just go in because he's not gonna expect us to immediately walk in. Most demo men, like when they put down a sticky there and then they put down 2 stickies here, most players know that like, okay, we shouldn't walk into the sticky trap, you know? So I'm like, he probably doesn't expect this, and he didn't. A good demo man will watch that vigilantly. They will not like look away for this moment that he did, and probably would have killed me. But I figured this guy is probably panicked and he's gonna die anyway, or is scared he's gonna die, so he's gonna just be a nice little quick kill here. And this is keeping momentum a little bit. I was a little concerned about ammo, but one thing you can do when you're getting kills as Pyro is just keep going. Like, I think this is what TMP called chaining. This is not an example of it right here necessarily, but you know, I'm kind of expecting to get the kill here, so I'm still like maintaining forward left momentum. I want this ammo though, so I come back for it. But you know, keeping that momentum is perfectly viable. And get a little lucky. Pyro just kind of walks in and is, you know, when you walk into a corridor like this, it's pretty easy to just insta die to a meat shot because like there's not much to miss here, you know. I mean, I didn't do a full meat shot, but it was like good enough to get the kill. So I saw the sniper, And I feel like the snipers have been carrying their team, because sniper is pretty strong class. So I decided to focus him, and now this is where things are gonna get like pretty fun because they're all dead, so I don't have to worry. I can do some crazy stuff here, if I wanted to. I guess not really. There's not much to do anyways. Actually, I was kind of feeling like in this situation where there's this demo man, a scout, kind of trying to attack me. I'm trying to sort of use my flames and my damage output to sort of keep going where I want to go. Because in the end, like, where I want to go is like into the enemy team and like getting behind them especially. So it's kind of nice to sort of keep going where I want to go, but use my flames to sort of discourage people from being in the way and sort of keep people a little bit at bay. But you know, none of this really matters in the grand scheme of things anyways, because it's just a pub and stuff like that can happen. So like, you know, there's not necessarily anything incredible about what I'm doing or anything. I just want to see if there's any little lessons to take away. So far, I feel like I'm learning a little bit. Oh, I'm getting a couple ideas for some strategies here, but nothing is like, none of this is necessarily new to me. Not much of this is anyways. So, okay, so not much going on here yet anyways. We got just a little bit of a miniature battle here. My team's kind of owning right now. I don't have to do very much. So I think at this point, like, yeah, I'm just like heart racing for a little while. Our team's still owning. They're all half dead. You know, one thing that can happen when team rolls in pubs is oh yeah, there's a neat little thing. Spawns can get staggered, so like half the team dies in a pub, and then the next half dies, and the next half respawns, and they die, and that's just how you get a pub roll. But anyways, I see this Pyro here, and I'm like, he has a full buff, but he's running the flamethrower and the detonator. Again, this same thing, not as egregious here, but again the same kind of issue where I can actually win this fight because I see this comes out and like it's physically, and then then you see him switch to his flamethrower, and like I have half a second to do whatever I want. So I just put in some damage and now he's attacking, but by the time he's able to do 25 damage, I have dealt 121 damage with the Degreaser Panic Attack. And there it is, another meat shot, or not meat shot, but like another good amount of damage. You know, it's like a average, like if it was a regular shotgun, it would be the same amount of damage. That gets to 200 and 241. So I guess he wasn't fully buffed. Maybe the demo man helped. If he did help, he didn't get any credit though. And that's still like a lot more damage than he did to me. So he just, like, even with the full buff, if you have the flamethrower and you're going up against a Degreaser Pyro, you cannot afford to not have your flamethrower out already ahead of time, because the Degreaser Pyro can deal a ton of damage to you in the time that it takes for you to like start dealing a little bit of damage, because of and this is also the case because of the ramp up of fire. Fire takes a little bit of time to reach full damage, and you have to hit all your shots with that, so like to get your full damage. So it's really hard for Pyro to do like a flamethrower to match up with the burst damage of the Degreaser combos. Part of the reason why Degreaser is so good, but primary reason the Degreaser is so good is because you can switch to it quickly, but that's a different thing. Anyways, there's my rambling again. We should talk about this death. yeah, use power. I'm just like, I don't want to go out there because I'm like, I don't have very much health. But this demo man kind of goes out and dies, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's something I can salvage from this. So I'm like trying to attack this heavy. Maybe do some, 200 damage. It's okay, but in the end, like, this heavy is just gonna outspace me, or just have more range than me. So I can't do much else. I tried to salvage the sacrifice for my teammate, but it wasn't necessarily the smartest thing to do, because they just had more firepower, and I didn't have anything that could really outdamage them in such a way that I could win that, or come out of that alive. Anyways, we're rolling out here. Not much to do. See, this Pyro's going in, but he air blasts the heavy, so I'm like, okay, I cannot do anything to that heavy anymore, so I just run away. Ow, I walked right into that. That's confusing me. That makes me very confused, because did I air blast that after it hit me? This caught me off guard. I was really confused by this. This arrow comes in, hits me for sure, and then I air blast it off of, or was this like a different attack? Was there just another player behind me that shot that? I'm not sure. It might have been the case that like a different class, or maybe even the medic shot me with this reflect. I don't see. So we took some damage. I air blast. From right here, a spark appears. And then the arrow comes back from out of my body. What? I don't understand. Well, if anyone wants to look into that, you're free to do so. Oh, that's some crazy stuff. Maybe some new tech, who knows. So yeah, this is a cute little spy. He tried to get fancy. He's acting here. He's acting pretty well, I'm like, that could be our spy, I guess, I don't have any reason to disbelieve him other than safety, so I just don't believe it. And I'm like, okay, if he goes for a trick stab, I'm not gonna move my camera very much. I'm just gonna like position myself so that I don't have to, so I can go a little bit wide and sort of not have to, just a little bit wide, like right here is even fine. But as long as I'm like looking forward, he can't really get the trick stab, especially because he disrespects me and thinks that I'm not ready for this move. If he was like a little bit higher level, what he would have done was predict that I would predict him to do that, and then he would like, actually that's kind of that might have been what he was doing. I'm not sure. I feel like he should have tried to go here instead. Like move to the left right here and then come dip back to the right. That might have been smarter, because I wouldn't have expected that as easily. But this is just like a common thing spies do, so you just gotta be aware of it and you deal with it. And it's not too difficult. Oh, I can ignore this magic. Let me see. What did I want to say about this soldier? If there's anything to learn from the soldier here. No, actually. I just jump over a rocket. That's kind of cute. Okay. Missed the medic for a second. That's okay. My team's getting a little bit owned here. I'm like bouncing around trying to see if there's any like where for me to do, any space for me. But I also am low on ammo, so I can't do very much. That is one of the downsides of the degreaser, is that it does use ammo, a decent amount faster than the regular flamethrower. But I find that the utility of having access to your air blast and flames from any weapon in 0.2 seconds is pretty useful. Our team's getting a little bit owned here, so I have to back up. It's not a fun situation. I'm still low ammo. Not great. The guy dies though, so I can take that ammo. That's one of the things about the ammo management is that when there's action on the field, you're generally gonna have ammo because people are gonna die and you can just pick stuff up. So I wasn't too concerned about not having ammo for much longer, just because I know that all I have to do is get a kill or have someone else die, and I can get some ammo. And that's exactly what happens. The spy, I didn't notice that this is a spy. Like, I could have saved this guy, but I was more focused on the. This is a mistake because I totally should have seen that. There was literally a decloak right in front of me, but my focus went to this soldier. So like, I saw a direct hit rocket go to the right. So I'm like, I'm gonna have my eyes look here, and so in my peripheral vision, I did not see this spy decloak here. And if I had, I might have been able to stop. Might have been able to save that guy. But anyways, what I'm gonna do here is some target switching. When you're fighting multiple opponents as Pyro, and you can't really kill any of them, but they can kind of both pressure you. One thing you can do is sort of change your targets, because what happens is, see, like, I'm moving to the right here, mostly to get this ammo, but also because I know that the soldier's like probably gonna want to chase me a little bit. So I go look at the spy and pretend to be distracted, like I don't remember this soldier, and then come back, and then this is where I throw in like a jump here, because just in case he aims a little low, I can jump over it. He didn't really do that, but in any case, yeah, because he's running DH, so he's not going to aim low. But in any case, it kind of baited him back a little bit, and then I come back to the right because I kind of was hoping that the spy would come back into me once he saw that I got distracted by the soldier, but the spy is, you know, playing it safe. I'm not really too concerned about him anymore though, because he's running with Changer and he's way over there, so he's not going to do very much damage. Target switching is a pretty good thing to do in pubs as a Pyro if you're in the middle of like multiple enemies and you can't really necessarily insta kill one of them.
Go heavy,
you can try to bait players and oh yeah, rip. This is unfortunate. So let's see, I have
Go heavy, I'm over.
175. I get piped down to 100, and then this pipe that I reflected deals.
Go heavy, I'm over.
Yeah, I'm down to 86. No, I don't get piped. I think I got. I might have gotten piped and hit by this scattergun. But this does 80 damage from over here. 85 damage. And that's rough. Because it's like way over there. And usually pipes from over here will not do 80 damage. Maybe they do. That's a little rough. Actually, it's surprisingly, I'm actually kind of surprised though, because I was kind of expecting to take more damage here. I thought I was actually just dead. I'm really surprised that I lived this. Usually when you reflect a pipe and and you're like stuck on it, you're gonna take a billion damage. So I was expecting to just die, but it did 85. So I got mildly lucky, but it didn't really matter because that's, you know, 1 HP, there's spam coming in. And even if I reflected the spam, there's a chance that it'll just kill me anyway, so that was just a rough situation. Getting hit by that pipe was really what killed me there, I think. So props to the demo for landing that. Oh yeah, this heavy is annoying. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. This is fun. All right, so let's see. We have a Pyro here. I'm like, I don't care about you, but you air lessened me, so now I have to deal with that. And this guy almost air shot me. That would have been really cool. I don't really care about where I reflect this pipe. I just want to reflect it just in case it's going to hit one of my teammates. And I just want to move closer to the demo to sort of force him to walk away. But then I start getting heavied. Natasha heavied, so I'm like, get me out of here. You know, like, let's see. Jump, power jack jump. Just I don't mind taking a little bit of extra damage if I can get away a little bit faster. And then I hear this demo man charge. I hear the charge. So listen carefully. I hear that, and I'm like, a few moments later, ready. You know? That's like that's a common thing. Demo knights are demoing with shield anyways. I don't really consider that a full demo knight because he's running pipes, but demo knight with pipes, they sometimes will use that charge mobility to bring themselves closer to you and try to finish you off with a pipe or something. Typically a pipe, and so you can just kind of, if you listen for that charged voice line, then you can just kind of deal with that, and because it's generally pretty linear. It's a little harder with the tide turner when they're turning around in a bunch of circles, but I haven't really seen that too often. So, oh, Natasha heavy. That's like, I can't fight that. I cannot stay into that with that heavy there. So here's what we do. They're down a ton. We're down a few, but that's not too big a deal. So they're not ready. They cannot physically watch enough of the doors. So I put some flames out a little bit everywhere. I just kind of fans them out. Excuse me. Just because I'm not trying to predict every motion that these players are doing. I just kind of get a feeling that they're probably going to be in this area. So let's just put some flames out. Maybe they'll walk into lingering flames. So I go back and forth like 1 or 2 times. Just one little oscillation. And then that's just like the starting little bit. And just to sort of put that out there, saying you can't go over here. And then once I'm done doing that, even though it didn't really matter because it didn't really do any damage, it's just like a threat to put down, and just in case maybe that engineer walks backwards, like, and then walks into this lingering flame for a second, takes a little bit extra damage. But I see the DH soldier, I see this demo man, so I look back. Okay, engineer's going down. He's not a threat anymore. He didn't even look at me. He doesn't know I'm here, so he's just not a threat. And this is one of the things with pubs is one of the reasons why Pyro becomes really good in pubs, and why a lot of this stuff that I'm doing here doesn't necessarily apply against good players. It may apply, but not necessarily, because good players, or at least competitive players, not even necessarily good players, but like if you're trying to win, you generally want to communicate with your teammates, and generally that weakens Pyro significantly. So that engineer might have then realized, oh, I am there, and he would have maybe turned around if his teammates had been able to communicate, but it's a pub, so nobody does that. So Pyro becomes super buffed in pubs because you can't coordinate against him, and he can kind of like assume that players don't necessarily know everything about what he's going to do and where he's going to go, and they're not watching him. So the Pyro can really do a lot by taking advantage of that. And an example of that is right here. I see this, I instinctively just kind of like reflect, and oh my gosh, what is that? Did I like demolish that guy? How much? No, okay, I don't actually get that reflect. Okay, I thought I might have actually just gotten that reflect off. That would have been really sick. But this is more of an air blast just in case. And it kind of works out because it pushes the soldier back. I'm able to get a panic attack off in between. And this heavy's approaching, and I hear the Natasha sounds. I'm like, okay, I cannot deal with that. So here's what we do. I've air blasted once. Alright, so one air blast. Switch to the panic attack. When you switch weapons after you air blast, there's like a bug, or I would call it a bug because it doesn't really make sense why this happens, unless you're like specifically saying like it's a balance feature. But I haven't seen any indication that this is intentional. When you switch after you air blast, when you switch away from your flamethrower or degreaser, whichever weapon you're using, and then you switch back. So I like do a panic attack, I switch back, I cannot actually air blast again for an additional 0.25 seconds. The air blast cooldown duration increases by 0.25 seconds when you switch weapons. So I know that. So I switch back and then to the degreaser and then back to the panic attack, because I know I can do that within enough time that it doesn't really matter. Like my shot's gonna come out at the same rate. So 0.65 seconds later, my shot comes out, and then I switch back to the degreaser, and now my air blast is ready for sure. So now I can get that air blast off. So I get a little bit of extra damage and get the air blast to sort of try to deal with that heavy. And this is just a this is just like, oh no. I like the heavy in the head spot meant that I had to run away there, but the crits, you know. I intended on living, but it's not always meant to be. And our team's about to roll through this, so there's not much more to say. I hope this turned out okay. There's probably a lot of work to do. I know I said like a lot. I know I probably had a lot of ums. So bear with me. Yeah, there's some more uhs for you. And in the end, I did okay. I didn't do as much damage as I would have liked. I would have liked to have done top damage, but some of these classes are pretty good at dealing damage, and they're definitely more capable of it than Pyro. So I do like to get more damage though, so I try my best. But anyways, I have a lot of footage. I have 300 shadow play stuff, so some of it's for video, some of it's for just I did something interesting. So maybe one of these days we can go through some of these shadow plays and learn some stuff. But in the future, instead of just talking, like I think this was pretty fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. But instead of just talking over recorded pubs, this is like an easy thing I can do. I have a lot of plans for other videos that take more effort. So hopefully I can get to those and present something that's a little bit more formalized and more, accurate, because like I said before, some of the stuff that I said here may not be correct. Just because I'm just speaking off of off my mind, and sometimes my first thoughts aren't correct, and that's why I like to make longer form, or I like to put more effort into videos, because I want to give you the right information. So yeah, hopefully this was good. I really appreciate you making it to the end. Take care.